Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best 10 brawlers to max out within the game right now. So again, there's been a bunch of changes to the meta, so you guys are probably going to be looking to power up a lot of different brawlers right now. So to begin with, the first brawler I recommend maxing out, it might be a big surprise to you guys because Jackie definitely isn't like an S tier brawler, but yeah, I'm going to be recommending Jackie. Main reason being is because of her hypercharge potential, especially when we're looking at a few game modes in particular, Gem Grab and Brawl. She's just running rampant all over the random meta. By that I mean you don't even need to be a skillful player whatsoever. You can just be brainless, and then after 2 respawns and maybe a few hits, you're able to get your hypercharge and completely change the game. So Jackie is actually just so strong right now when it comes down to just playing ladder. Can be so frustrating to face off against, and you know, with her kit overall, of course, hypercharge, that's one reason to max her out. She's got a really good gadget as well. Counter Crusher is definitely needed for her because she needs that extra DPS as well. So overall, I think she's got a pretty decent kit, and you do get good value out of the damage gear and the speed gear with Jackie. Okay, so jumping into the next brawler, you should definitely be looking to max out in this meta. It has to be Dynamite. So I'd actually say that he's incredibly underrated, mainly because people are just feasting their eyes on brawlers like Edgar, Fang, etc. So Dynamite can kind of struggle there, but at the same time, once he gets his hypercharge, he'll just team wipe all of those brawlers, which people aren't talking about. Again, they talk about all these other hypercharges. His Boomer hypercharge is actually so broken. You can cycle it so fast and literally destroy 3 people in a row. I just don't know why people aren't really talking about this. Of course, the maps don't really favor him as much as maybe previously, because the more bushier the map, the more there's probably going to be like a tank or a Jackie waiting in that bush. But still, in the right setting, specifically heist as well, he still absolutely shreds. Next up on the must max out list, we have Cordelius. I think he's been on this list ever since his release. He's so incredibly strong still. So if you want to rewind back to why he's so good, specifically in the hypercharge meta, is because he's probably the biggest counter to them. So what most people do is sort of just put that hypercharge brawler into the Shadow Realm, and he'll pretty much waste all of their hypercharge, and he pretty much beats every single brawler in a 1v1 because you get that extra movement speed and I think reload speed as well. You've of course got his star power that helps you heal up in the gunfight as well, and just because of that extra speed, you're able to go in and out of their range and just dodge their attack. Whether it's a melee brawler or a sniper, you can actually also use the replanting gadget as well in the Shadow Realm, which is kind of broken because again, you can just jump over people's attack and just take them down so quickly. Everything about Cordelius is so incredibly strong. He's pretty much meta everywhere, and because of the map pool changes as well, I think that's just made him even better. But people aren't really talking about it. He also never gets banned in Power League as well if you're looking for a strong Power League brawler. So he's just incredibly strong across the board. It's just because most people probably have got him to rank 30 by now. So next up on the must max out list, we have Amber. So people have been sleeping on Amber for a while. I've recently put her on my underrated list, and I think ever since I started trying her a lot more, she just absolutely shreds. Why aren't people talking about this? So this is why I recommend to max her out. People are saying that Dancing Flames is a decent gadget as well. I'm yet to get too much success rate with it, but 5-star is such a good gadget anyway. The extra movement speed is so good at bursting down people so fast, and now that she deals insane damage, you can just literally use this to be so aggressive and shred through people quickly. You can also use it with the Wild Flame star power to cycle through your supers pretty well. Good thing about Amber as well, she's got a lot of gears that she can use. She got the reload gear, which is a must for her. The mythic gear can be pretty good on game modes like Hot Zone, where you just want to use the super to stop them from going into a certain point. And pretty much every other gear is so useful with Amber. So for me, she's just the ultimate max out brawler right now, definitely towards the top of the range of the meta. Next up in this ranking, we have Leon, and I think he pretty much tops the ranking in terms of brawlers you must max out in this meta. So finally, his time has came again. It's been maybe a year or even longer, nearly 2 years now since he's been at the top. I think he's nearing the S tier. His hypercharge, I underrated it a lot to begin with, and I think it's incredibly strong. I think the big thing about it is the damage buff you get with that hypercharge. He just absolutely shreds people, and it just makes him into a multi-kill machine because you'll just need one piece of ammo when you're close to someone to just completely delete all of their ammo. But the good thing about Leon, which I say time and time again, is that you can pretty much look through every single map and every single mode. You can actually just get value out of Leon. The main reason being is because of his lollipop drop gadget. It enables him to be super sneaky, whether it's a bushy map or literally every map has a wall, right? So you're always going to get value out of this gadget. He also has 2 good star powers. I recommend using Invisiheal pretty much all of the time because you're just able to engage in and out of gunfights pretty quickly with this Invisiheal. But of course, on longer range maps, smoke trails is pretty good as well. And also the recent buff to the mythic gear actually has made him a lot more viable. Typically I use speed and mythic gear just to pounce upon the opponents pretty quickly. So Leon for me is a must max out. He's so strong with his hypercharge. Okay, so jumping into the next brawler you must absolutely max out in this meta, it is Miko. So he's the brawler which every person will have if you've just literally gone into his shop. He's a free brawler with the Brawler Days update, and I think he's absolutely insane. So it's controversial because some people think he's trash, some people think he's very strong, especially if you play not duo showdown, just regular showdown. He's insane. In a 1v1, there's pretty much no brawler that can beat him because with his monkey business star power, you're able to steal the opponent's ammo and gain one yourself. So it just enables you to win a matchup so much easier. And the great thing about him as well is his super. People don't talk about his super enough. You're literally invulnerable for 6 seconds. You can heal up and gain your ammo back. And it's just about that cycle of going in again with your super every single time. And that's what makes him really good in solo showdown. But for me, I think he's one of the best brawlers in the game. It's just that people haven't really learned how to use him. You need to pick up and play him a lot because he's so much different to every other brawler. So for me, I definitely recommend maxing him out and at least being patient with him because he definitely has potential to be one of the best brawlers in the game. Okay, so jumping into the next brawler, definitely recommend maxing out in this meta. It is still Piper. So people ask me a lot in this meta, is Piper and Nani still as viable as before? And I think specifically if you're playing ladder, Piper is probably the go-to sniper, mainly because of that auto-aim gadget. You know, typically we talk about homemade recipe being so broken in bounty and knockout, but everywhere else, auto-aim is going to be really good, especially if you pair with snappy sniping. That combination is so deadly against tanks. You can actually secretly shred them. You know, a tank will think that they can just run into a Piper. They can't, because especially when you combine it with her super damage as well, you can actually just break open the terrain and then eventually counter tanks. It's beautiful. People underrate it so much. And again, if you guys don't know, auto aimer actually gives you an extra piece of ammo, well, 0.4 ammo with snappy sniping, because it just works like that. So it's absolutely beautiful synergy. So overall, I believe Piper is still a fantastic pick in this meta. Let's jump into the next brawler you must absolutely max out in this meta. Pretty boring because she's in every single list, but it's Maisie. I've got to talk about it because right now she's 1,000,000% one of the best brawlers inside of the game right now. If you're unaware why, you must be sleeping under a rock. So the reason is because you get your super within three shots, and then you can use a disengage gadget and the tremor star power for a deadly combination. And more often than not, especially if you're playing Brawl, you're able to cycle your super so quickly, and that cycle allows you to get to your hypercharge even quicker. And again, her hypercharge is just so broken because you get this additional speed boost which allows you to catch up to the opponents and get a bigger team wipe. Of course, the additional damage from the projectiles that come out of the hypercharge just delete the brawlers as well, and typically you can get like 2 or 3 supers with ease cycling through these hypercharges. So team wipes are just inevitable with this brawler. So insanely strong, and for me has to be nerfed with the next update. Okay, so jumping into the next brawler you must absolutely max out right now, it is Edgar. So I actually typically put Edgar and Fang in the same bracket, but I think most people must have both of these brawlers maxed out because they're some of the most popular brawlers even before hypercharge. But I'd recommend Edgar probably a little bit more than Fang right now because I feel like people again are just abusing Fang so much in 5v5 that people are forgetting about Edgar. You have to play him a little bit differently now. Before, when his hypercharge was busted, I used to just go in aggro so many times, but now I feel like if you have that discipline with Edgar, he will still pop off. You just need to make sure that you're not wasting your hypercharge onto a brawler that can knock you back or push you back with something, and you'll just absolutely shred through people and more than likely get like a team wipe or at least 2 kills with his hypercharge, because the additional supercharge and just reload speed is just so broken in a 1v1. There's no brawler that can really compare with him, so I really do love him in this meta still. Okay, so jumping into the final brawler you must absolutely max out right now, it's a little bit boring repeating this brawler again. It is Bo. So I know he's probably one brawler that has just came out of the meta out of nowhere, because in previous metas he was like one of the worst brawlers in the game, but right now he's just everywhere. And the reason why I love him so much is because he's so versatile. He's good in every single map and mode, and even on some maps where you might not think he's very favorable, he's able to just bend the map the way he wants, because of course he has that wall break attribute. So for me, in terms of his star powers and gadgets, none of them are exactly needed. Snare Bear probably is the most needed out of everything in his kit overall, but I like Super Totem a little bit more, just because you're able to cycle Super a little bit better. His gears are pretty valuable as well, especially the reload speed gear. I really like that. Vision with him is pretty good as well. And again, it's just the fact that he just burns through everything. As soon as he gets into like a sniper's range, you can like 3 or 4 shot them, which is just absolutely insane. And then the tanks, again, he can just rip through so quickly. So for me, Bo definitely is the best brawler in the game right now, and so incredibly broken. You just need to max him out. But if you don't know that already, you must be living under a rock, because it's all I've been talking about the past few weeks on my channel. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know whether there's any brawlers that missed out on who you should absolutely max out right now. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.